broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, everyone. Thank you for coming to the webinar. Before we get started, I do want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded, and we will go ahead and email out a link to the replay to everyone who registered for the webinar. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and get started to the next slide. So if you haven't met me before, my name is Cody. I'm the education manager and marketing person here at Duda. Well, one of many marketing people, I guess you could say. And with me today, I have a special guest. I've got Clarence Williams, who is the co-founder of Focus.io. And Focus is a service that offers predefined photo packages available nationwide. And those photo packages are performed by pre-screened photographers that are in their network. And they've got over 1,000 photographers in their network. And they've been described as kind of like an Uber of photography, which we think is pretty cool since you can go on their site. You can order a photo package for your client for a couple $100. The photographer shows up to the client's location, takes photos, and delivers the files to you, the agency, electronically. After they've been retouched and everything. And we think it's a really interesting service. And he's working with a lot of agencies right now that they're using to build better websites for their clients. And so he's got some cool tips and everything for how you can use these custom images to make better websites for your clients and also get more value for your agency. So if we go to the next slide, we're going to go over kind of what the webinar is going to be about today. Clarence is going to talk about the importance of using those original images in your clients' websites, how you can sell photography to your clients and what that can mean for your agency, and then how you can source custom photos. Because you don't have to use a service like Focus. You can do this yourself or hire your own photographer. Or if you've got photography skills, you could probably do this yourself. So there's some things you might want to keep in mind if you're considering doing that. And then, of course, like always, we will save time at the end for Q&A. So if you have any questions as we're going through the webinar, you have questions for Clarence, you have questions for me about Duda, go ahead and type them into the questions box, and we're going to make sure to keep some time at the end to go over those questions and answer them for you. So let's go ahead and get started and have a warm welcome for Clarence.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Hopefully your day is going well. Great to virtually meet you all. Quick background about myself. Prior to co-founding Focus, I was in similar shoes to a lot of you. I did own a company that did online ordering for restaurants, and as a result of that, we ended up building websites for a lot of our restaurant clients. Something that we didn't necessarily do on purpose, but ended up getting roped into. And the photography for us was a way to ensure great results out of those website builds, as well as make sure that they went quickly and that the customers loved them the first time. So we didn't have to do a whole bunch of revisions or spend time on that. So I'm going to kind of be sharing my secrets, things that I learned along the way, and Focus actually kind of grew out of our own need for a vendor like that. So a lot of what I'll be talking about is kind of how it worked for us, and pitfalls and opportunities that you guys can use without having to do the trial and error. So I hope you find it informative. And as Cody mentioned, there'll be plenty of time for questions at the end. So first, why should you use custom photography in your website projects? Well, it's good for business. It's good for your client's business, and it's good for your agency's business as well. So let's talk about why. You eliminate some of the dependency on client for image content, right? As we all know, you can't build a website without content, right? That includes copy. It includes pictures. Pictures are important because they communicate a message, right? And, when pictures take up so much real estate on that website that you're building, you've got the hero image, you have supporting images, things like that. It's very important for that image content to be on message, right? And because it is so impactful, it's better ingredients, better pizza, right? Your work product is going to be a result of the content that you put into it. And your timing is also dependent on getting that content. When you rely on the customer for a significant portion of your ingredients, then you're at the mercy of what they deliver, right? You're at the mercy of their timing of getting it to you. And ultimately, you could be in an awkward situation of having to, talk to them about why that picture that their daughter took with her iPhone is not, actually perfect, right? So this eliminates that. You're going to ensure that you have quality images to start off your web project by using a photographer and doing it yourself. You're going to ensure quick turnaround time, which is also going to impress your client. The quicker I've found you get the website out to the client, the more happy they are, the more professional they feel about the experience that they're having with your agency. And the faster you get paid, usually, and better results, right? The website's going to perform better. It's going to SEO better when you have original imagery versus stock, for example. It's going to convert better. One statistic, and the source is noted on the bottom here, they did a comparison between, on a credit repair site, they used a stock photo of, an attractive woman with a headset, and they A/B tested that against the CEO, a headshot of the CEO, and, caption explained that this is, in fact, the real CEO of the company. And because the image was real and relatable and authentic, it actually increased conversions by 35%. So that's one example. And here's an example of what a website could look like using a focus photo. So this is a real focus photo, not a real website, though. This is a mock-up. But this gives you an idea of what a website could look like using a custom photo as a result of a focus photo shoot or your photo shoot, right? This is probably a signature cocktail that they make, right? That's really his bar. When that owner sees that picture and they see their bar looking that good and their signature cocktail looking that good, they're going to be proud of that. They're going to say the ABC agency, they just rocked, right? That's what you want. So on that note, original photographs are going to set your agency apart, right? This is not par for the course. Every agency does not do this for their clients, right? So you're setting yourself apart by offering this, and obviously by guaranteeing that you're going to have a quality final product, right? Increases trust and engagement, not just with the website visitors to the business, but also for the business to your agency, right? You may have never seen this person face to face. They may have found you online and contacted you by phone. So when you do that photo shoot, you send the photographer out there. He comes with the camera and maybe the lights, and he does that photo shoot. Now the customer is engaged, right? Your client's engaged. This is happening. We're really doing this website thing now, right? Now, those other bits that he needs to get you, maybe the domain access, maybe some of the copy. Now he's more engaged in that process because he sees something happening, right? It's a physical touch. Somebody came there, started doing work. He saw that happening. He's going to be more engaged in the process, and he or she's going to be more likely to give you those kind of things that they owe to contribute to the process of building that website. It's going to be fun and memorable. Who doesn't love a photo shoot, right? We find that a lot of the business owners actually make sure to schedule the photo shoot for a time that they're going to be there because they want to take part in the photo shoot, right? It's really fun for them. Excuse me. The resulting images can be used in your own marketing and other projects that you do for this client, right? That's another reason why this is good for your business. So you've done the photo shoot, you've generated all of these high quality images. Those are great for the website. They're also great for that business's social media marketing. They're great for their local listings, right? You know, they can replace some of those customer generated images on Yelp, for example, with their own official content, right? And that can generate more business for you with that customer. So this is another kind of interesting fact that I love, that I want to share with you. A totally satisfied customer is more than 2.5 times more valuable to a company than a somewhat satisfied customer, and 14 times more valuable than a somewhat dissatisfied customer, right? So if you create a memorable, rave-worthy experience for your client, and this photo shoot and the resulting product from that is going to do just that, right? You've now made your client 2 to 14 times more valuable to you as an agency, right? You can expect them to do more business with you. You can expect them to stay longer. You can expect them to refer you to more of their friends, right? And that's going to make you more money. And that's just by going above and beyond what they expected when they signed up for a website project, and the fact that you wowed them, right? And I'd be very interested to hear, in your experience, what a customer is worth lifetime value-wise when they love their website at the first presentation, the first time you showed it to them without having to go through a bunch of revisions. You know, if that happened quickly and you wowed them the first time, I'd love to hear if that contributes to a longer, more successful relationship with that customer, but I bet it does. Here are some examples of what you can do with those images. So these are all from a real photo shoot that we did. On behalf of a franchise, a cool company featured on Shark Tank, they make cinnamon buns, as you can tell. These are actually franchise owners, I believe in Texas. And on the bottom here, this is an example of a customer testimonial, right? So now you've gone out, you've done this photo shoot for this client of yours. Wouldn't that make a great picture to put next to the testimonial that they give you to put on your agency website, so that you can kind of put a face to the name of who's giving you that rave review, right? Obviously the pictures work well in social media, and can be used on menus or all kinds of other places. And the owners love seeing themselves in the pictures. I mean, business owners are very proud. They put their heart and soul into the business. And when they see themselves in the pictures on the website, looking professional, looking proud, they're going to be proud of that. They're going to be proud to show it to their friends and their neighbors, right? So now that we're all hopefully clear on why it's valuable to your business to employ professional photography in your projects, how do you sell that to your customers, right? So how to sell photography to your clients? Well, there's 3 ways. One is bundled. Bundled is my favorite. It means it just comes with it. You get a website from me, you're going to get a photo shoot, and we're going to use those pictures in our project to ensure quality and timely delivery. We just bundle it into our price. It's one of our costs. We pass it on to you. Done deal, right? Some agencies don't necessarily want to do bundled, right? So the other option is an add-on. So we charge X for the website and Y for a photo shoot if you want one, right? That's an option too. A third option, which is kind of a composite of both, is it's an incentive to upgrade, right? So normally it's X to pay for a photo shoot, but if you upgrade to our higher package, or maybe if you sign up today, or if you agree to X, Y, and Z, whatever else, you want to sell to them, we'll throw in that photo shoot, which is a $200 value, right? So it can be used as kind of a closing tool, right? Or an upsell tool. So that's a great way to utilize it as well. And it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. So now that you know why to sell photography and how to sell photography, where do you get it from, right? So sourcing your own photographs. Obviously, as Cody mentioned, we'd love you to use focus, but you can do this yourself. I'm kind of going to show you the things to consider when doing that and, how to make sure you do that effectively. So things to consider when hiring a photographer. Photographer selection. So scouting, where do you find these guys? They're on Craigslist. They're on LinkedIn. There are directories such as SmartShoot where you can find photographers. Many different places that you can find freelance professional photographers, obviously Google, right? So once you find them, sourcing or screening is kind of making sure the ones that you're working with are the right ones for your project, right? So the portrait photographer or the wedding photographer doesn't necessarily have the equipment or the experience with, say, food photography, right? So when you're looking at those portfolios, it's very important, if you don't see the kind of work represented that you're looking for, that you ask the photographer if they've done that work and to show you examples of that work, right? From a vendor management perspective, you're going to want to make sure that you understand ahead of time their rates, how they expect to get paid, when they expect to get paid, what they understand are their responsibilities and what you expect of them in order for them to get paid, right? So there's no conflicts down the road. And of course, homework like getting their 1099 and, payment information in advance. You don't want to, for example, expect to pay by credit card and find out after the shoot has happened that the guy only takes cash, right? So those things you want to make sure you take care of ahead of time. Legal considerations. Whenever you're doing a photo shoot, especially on behalf of one of your business clients, always make sure that you're securing the copyrights of the work, right? You do not want to get into a situation where the photographer goes out and does these photo shoots, gives you, maybe the final images, and then either A, sells those same images to a stock site or to, some other place, right? And then your client ends up seeing his photos someplace else, right? That's number one. Number two is if the client or you go and use those photos for things that maybe the photographer didn't expect, maybe he thought it was for a website and the person decides to use it for an ad, then he comes back wanting more money, saying that, you've used them in a different way other than what he licensed them for, right? So you don't want your clients to be subject to that legal action because they're going to look back at you. So always make sure that you're securing copyright on behalf of your clients in advance from the photographer. Very important. Also important is model releases. If there are people in the pictures, whether they're customers of the business, employees of the business, even owners of the business, if their faces are clear enough to recognize, make sure you have them sign a model release, or the photographer or somebody there has them sign a model release, because otherwise, if their likeness is used without permission, you can have another legal action. It's even happened with owners. Partners split up. They have arguments. The next thing you know, the one owner says, take down my picture, or, take my picture off the menu, take my picture off the website, right? Just to cause problems. You have model releases, you don't have those issues. right? They're easy to do. Some other logistics to think about. Image selection. How are you going to do it, right? What's going to be the process? Who's going to choose is the photographer going to choose which images are best? Because, it's digital photography. They're going to go out, they're going to shoot 50, 100 pictures. You're only going to probably need 10, right, to be retouched. And we'll talk about that later. But who's going to choose those right 10? And there's no right answer. You could say, okay, we'll let the photographer do that. You could say, we'll let the client do that. You probably want to at least have a say in what's being chosen since you're building the website. So then it becomes who on your team is going to do that and how are you going to do it, right? Because those files are very heavy. Typical professional camera, DSLR today, shoots about a 50 megabyte file. So if you have 100 of them, you can imagine, that's a lot of data to be sending back and forth. It's not always easy to sift through them, especially if you don't have the right software on your computer, and then let the photographer know which ones you want, to be photoshopped. So think about that, how you're going to handle that, as well as turnaround time, which kind of relates to that. Once you've selected those pictures, and this goes back to setting expectations with your photographer, you want to make sure that you set expectations or get expectations from them about turnaround time. When are they going to get around to doing that photoshopping for you, right? You don't want it to be like a wedding photographer that could take, 2 months. Meanwhile, you're waiting on these pictures and your client's waiting on a website, right? That goes into delivery, right? And we talked about payment, how do they get paid? When do they get paid? Have all that stuff sorted out in your logistics as well. So that's about it. That's what you would want to think about doing it on your own. This is just an example. If you're not familiar with digital photography, all digital images need to be retouched. So before, when film was being used, you could make adjustments in the development of the film. Since that doesn't exist in digital, you make your adjustments in what's called post-processing, right? So this is a final image, same picture, but you can see that the retoucher has made some changes. She adjusted some contrast, right? She brightened up some colors, turned it a little bit so it's more balanced, etc., right? And since this is one of our raw images, you can see that it's watermarked. Normal raw images would not have that watermark on them, but otherwise that's what a raw image looks like. So this is the part where I get to tell you about how focus can obviously make all of that other work go away, right? So we make your workflow smoother. We streamline that whole process that I showed you before. We eliminate a lot of those operational soft costs. So if you think about the time that goes into doing those things that I explained, the legal paperwork, the people who are going to call and screen and negotiate and manage the photographers, even kind of routine operational things like reviewing the final photos, our platform kind of does all that for you, right? So the way our process works, you just buy a package online, put in, the specifics about the location and who's going to be the point of contact on site, that kind of stuff, pay, and we do the rest of the work. We identify a pre-screened photographer that's right for the job. We assign them. You get text message reminder and email letting you know that your appointment's been confirmed. As soon as the pictures are ready, you get another message saying, okay, you can review your images. Once you choose them online, then we actually have our own post-processing. So we take the photographer out of the loop at that point. And that ensures a very fast turnaround time, as well as it helps us maintain quality and consistency, right? So we're usually able to deliver your final photos within 24 hours after you choose which pictures you like. And one of the ways that we make all of this stuff work seamlessly and keep costs down is what I call a network effect or a community benefit, right? Because we have a large pool of photographers, many of them have done multiple assignments for us before, right? So they're used to the way that we work, our process. They know that we pay them immediately upon approval of their raw images, right? So they know they get paid fast. I say slow money is like no money. So if I have to pay you a week from now, then you might charge me a little bit more, right? If you know you're going to get regular work from me and that we're super easy to do business with, and that we pay immediately, you might actually work for me for a little bit less than you usually do, right? So we benefit that way. We also do tend to get a very high quality of work from our photographers because they're loyal. They know there's more work coming. And they value the relationship there, right? And then, of course, we have our own full-time retouchers. So we do keep costs down that way as well. So that's what I call a network benefit. And that's pretty much my stuff. I'd love to hear from you guys if you have any questions. And of course, if you do want to try Focus, we're very happy to offer you 20% off of your first 2 photo shoots with us. You can use code Duda when you check out. And based on our typical packages, that's about $100 value. So take advantage of that.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Clarence. That was really informative. So, guys, if you have any questions for Clarence before he goes, just feel free to type them into the question box below, and we'll make sure to get those questions answered. We really think Focus is a really cool service, and we just wanted to introduce you guys to them because we think that you guys will get a lot of value out of it and be able to make better websites, make happier clients, and build more websites at the end of the day. So we all win. First thing I think that some people might want to know is a lot of our resellers are building websites for their clients. How do you coordinate with the client, and how does that work if the reseller is buying photography from you guys for the client? Is Focus transparent about that relationship? How does that communication work?
So we are actually transparent about that. So back to the network benefit. It is kind of important for them to know that Focus is involved for 2 reasons. Number one, it could be very confusing if for example, if the photographer knows that they're working for Focus, but the customer doesn't, and the photographer says, I'm here from Focus, and the end client's like, who, right? That being said, a lot of the agencies do become the client, right? Because we also have a referral partner model where you could sign up as an affiliate and let the clients order the photo shoots themselves. But most agencies do prefer to be in the middle of it, and actually manage most of it, and they just assign the client as the photo shoot contact. Some even upcharge for it, and that works out fine as well because they're adding value, right? But we don't really do a white label, I think, if that's the question.
Got it. Okay, Sean is asking, he says he came in 10 minutes late. How do you run shoots for us when we're all over the country? And I think Adam had a similar question about, are you countrywide?
Yes, we are nationwide in the U.S. currently. and we have a network of just over 1,000 active photographers, pre-screened photographers. We do have recruiting people who will find additional photographers in areas where we need to reach if it's remote or things like that. But generally speaking, in all the major areas where you have people and businesses, we've got coverage.
Okay, Amanda is asking, do you have any good suggestions for preparing your client for a photo shoot?
Yes, great question. One of the funniest problems we ever had was we did a photo shoot for a very busy deli in Manhattan, and the owner was not there for the photo shoot. And the pictures came out great. But he was very upset, so, I couldn't figure out why. And I called him. I said, "What's wrong with the pictures?" He said, "My manager's in all of them. He's looking like he owns the place, right?" So he's like, "Come back when I'm there." So yeah, definitely, that would be probably the number one, is find out who should be in the pictures and who should be there when it happens. 'Cause that's going to affect scheduling mostly. And then, the obvious things, right? Have it clean. Probably have it during slower hours if they don't want their customers in the place, or, they don't want it to be disruptive. Sometimes they do want their customers to be there, right? So then, I would have the model release conversation or find out if their customers are going to be okay being photographed. But those are the kinds of things that I would talk about, in addition to the obvious things like having it clean and, things of that nature.
I really like that story because it's an example of how much pride that owner has about his business, that he's jealous and he wants to be in the photos, Okay, we've got another question here from Mary Teresa asking, are the package prices all-inclusive, or do I need to expect that there may be extra costs?
Great question. There are no extra costs. So the package prices are all inclusive. The only thing that you might want to, in some cases, pay extra for would be additional retouched images, right? So, in the package, you'll see exactly how many final images you get. Let's say it comes with 10. But you really like 15, and this is one of the nice things too. You can come back to that vault. Those photos, the original raw images, as well as anything that we retouch, is stored on our servers forever, right? So, you always have it there as a backup, and you can always go back to that, library. Think of it like your own little stock library. So if you're doing a marketing campaign, down the road and you want to go back and grab 5 more pictures from that shoot, we just charge a nominal fee to retouch additional raw images, and you can get those additional photos that may not have come with your original package.
Great. Jason is asking, can we get a recording of the webinar? Absolutely. So we are recording this webinar, and we are going to email out a link to the replay to everyone who registered. Alyssa is asking, do you offer focus service in Canada?
Well, Alyssa, we could. We don't yet, but that is someplace that we were planning on expanding in the near future. So if you'd like to get in touch with me, we can talk about your needs in Canada, and we can discuss doing that.
And I think Peter also says, any plans for expansion into Canada? So, same answer there. Mary Teresa is asking again, saying she has clients in small towns.
Mary, small towns are fine. Remote mountain regions could be a little bit more difficult, but we certainly do plenty of business in small towns. If you have specific clients, again, feel free to reach out to me. And what we can do is we can actually check zip codes, and let you know, where we have coverage if you're unsure.
Okay, here, let's see. Adam's asking, do we get all of the photos or just the 10 that are retouched?
So, Adam, this goes back to photographers' rights and copyrights. So we do secure all rights on behalf of our clients. But one of the ways that works is if the photographer is giving us 10, right? If the package includes 10 finals, what we do is we charge, like I said, a nominal fee for additional finals, and we do share that with the photographer, right? They're not going to use any of the resulting images from the photo shoot for any other purpose, but if we do deliver them unwatermarked to the client above and beyond what comes with the package, we do have a responsibility to pay the photographer for that. So we do charge a little bit extra for that. But generally speaking, with all of our packages and the final images, it really comes down to about the same amount of money, oftentimes even less than you would pay for quality stock images.
So follow-up question from Mary Teresa. She's asking, is there a place on the website that we can check zip codes?
Not for users, Mary, currently. But like I said, we really always have coverage. We've never had a situation where we had a photo shoot client and did not have a photographer or weren't able to quickly locate a photographer. So I doubt that would ever be a problem. It's certainly not enough of one that we've needed a tool like that. But again, if you have any concerns, feel free to contact me. Or any of you can email hello@focus.io. That's our customer service email. And we can check for you.
Yeah, it looks like George is asking a similar question. He wants to know if Anchorage, Alaska would be considered a small town and if you guys have a presence there.
We do have a presence there. Actually, funny that you said that. I use that as an example of one of the places that we can easily cover.
Michael's saying that 10 photos would not be enough for a website.
Okay, well, we have a list of packages. I believe that 10 is our small package. But we do have packages that come with additional photos and additional time on site.
I suppose it would kind of depend on the type of website that you were building. If it's like a basic 5-page website, I think 10 photos would probably be enough, but if you need more, I think they have those higher packages. And
for an example, I'm sorry to cut you off, Cody, but the medium package, for example, comes with 20 final images.
Got it. Okay. So I know you guys offer more than just photos, and I'd like you to, I think you have a slide about this too, about video and that other thing. Can you just show that to these guys real quick?
I do, yes. So this is something that we do get asked about often. Google Business View is kind of hot right now. If you're not familiar with it, it's that thing where, similar to Street View, you can kind of walk inside the business and look around. It's like virtual reality, right? So you can turn around and move around in the business and really get a feel for what it's like inside. Something that doesn't, even according to Google, doesn't really sell entirely well on its own. But when you're already building a website or you're already doing marketing, or certainly if you're already doing a photo shoot, it's a very easy add-on to upsell, and the businesses do find it cool. Videos are also something that we get asked about frequently. It's great for the clients. It's also really great for the agencies. So, one thing that works well, especially with professional businesses, is what we call an owner monologue. So if you think about a attorney, for example, or a chiropractor talking about how it is that he does what he does and why his patients trust him, and what makes his practice special, right? The business owners love doing that, right? Because they like to be on camera. They like to talk about their business. They're passionate about their business. Usually with business owners, they are the magic that makes their business unique, right? So kind of, making them a part of their website and, bringing them out and letting their personality come out on video, works really well in terms of, conversion, as well as, like I said, they're proud to do that. And it's also a great opportunity to have them say a little something about what you've done for them, what your agency has done for them. And then you've got your video testimonials. I imagine a lot of your clients probably ask for references, right? So a video testimonial is a great way, to send references to your leads, without bothering your customers time and time again.
Excellent. John's got a question about the virtual tour. He wants to know if you can link the virtual tour to Google Earth.
Yes. Well, Google actually links it themselves. So we submit it to Google, and Google integrates it into their map and I believe also into the Earth product.
Excellent. Good. Okay. So John says that's cool. And let's see here. And William says, well done. Thank you, William. All right, great. Clarence, can we put the previous slide up one more time? So thank you all again for coming. Thank you, Clarence, for coming and talking with us and telling us all about the photo services and how using those custom images can help agencies make better websites for their clients and also provide more value for their agencies. So again, guys, if you're interested, check out Focus. They're cool guys. They're a cool company. Personally, I think it's a really cool service. And if you use the code Duda, you'll save 20% off. So definitely worth checking out. Thank you all again for coming, and thank you again, Clarence, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you for having me, and thank you everybody for joining. I look forward to hearing from and potentially working with any of you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.